What's up, humans, and welcome to a new Psicoactivo. Happy Monday, everybody. Okay, so on today's video, I'm going to talk about a new development in Matthew Livelsberger's case. If you don't know who that is the Green Beret who blew himself up on January right outside of Trump Hotel in Las Vegas. He was inside a Cybertruck, and he wrote a manifesto talking about many different things. One of which is that the Chinese actually have gravitic propulsion devices and vehicles. And he talked about a potential war breaking out and how the US couldn't have a chance if they did, because these drones that allegedly he says the Chinese already have unlimited payloads. So based on that, there is a new development that just came out on the New York Post, and a reaction from Sam Shoemate, who was the person on the Shawn Ryan show talking about Livelsberger and how he was the one who was selected to relay this information about Livelsberger. And I'm going to play you this clip from UAP James. Shout out to UAP James of that day when Shawn Ryan interviewed Sam Shoemate and they talked about this manifesto. So here it is, Sam Shoemate talking about Livelsberger on Shawn Ryan's show.
You want to read the email?
Yep. So this email came in on December 31st at 10:42 a.m. That is Tuesday. He said, "In case I do not make it to my decision point or onto the Mexico border, I am sending this now. Please do not release this until 1 January and keep my identity private until then. First off, I am not under duress or hostile influence or control. My first car was a 2006 black Ford Mustang V6 for verification. What we have been seeing with drones," he puts that in quotes, he says drones, "is the operational use of gravitic propulsion systems powered aircraft by most recently China and the East Coast, but throughout history, the US. Only we in China have this capability. Our OPSEN, that's Operation Center, our OPSEN location for this activity is in the box below. China has been launching them from the Atlantic from submarines for years, but this activity recently has picked up. As of now, it is just a show of force, and they are using it similar to how they used the balloon for SIGINT and ISR, which are also part of the integrated comms system. There are dozens of those balloons in the air at any given time. The so what is because of the speed and stealth of these unmanned aircraft. They are the most dangerous threat to national security that has ever existed. They basically have an unlimited payload capacity and can park it over the White House if they wanted. It's checkmate. U.S. government needs to give the history of this, how we are employing it and weaponizing it, how China is employing them and what the way forward is. China is poised to attack anywhere in the East Coast. I've been followed for over a week now from likely Homeland or FBI, and they are looking to move on me and are unlikely going to let me cross into Mexico, but won't because they know I am armed and I have a massive VBID." Let me pause right there for a second. So he says a massive VBID. When I was talking to the FBI yesterday, they didn't know what a VBID was. I had to explain what that acronym meant, literally.
You fucking serious?
Dead serious. I said it twice and he goes, "You said that word VBID. Can you tell me what that is?" For your audience, a VBID, for your audience who has not been in the GWAT for the last 20 years, a VBID is a vehicle-borne improvised explosive device. In layman's terms, a car bomb, what we saw at Trump Tower. So backing up, he says, "I am armed and have a massive VBID. I've been trying to maintain a very visible profile and have kept my phone, and they are definitely digitally tracking me." Here's where he gets into the other stuff. And this is where we had to redact the names. Well, your producer redacted the names. "I have knowledge of this program and also war crimes that were covered up during airstrikes in Nimruz province, Afghanistan in 2019 by the admin, DOD, DEA, and CIA. I conducted targeting for these strikes of over 125 buildings. 65 were struck because of civcas, that's civilian casualties, that killed hundreds of civilians in a single day. U.S. FORA continued strikes after spotting civilians on initial ISR. It was supposed to take 6 minutes and scramble all aircraft in CENTCOM. The UN basically called these war crimes, but the administration made them disappear. I was part of that cover-up with U.S. FORA, an agent, redacted, of the DEA. So I don't know if my abduction attempt is related to either. I worked with redacted IO staff on this as well as the response to Bala Murghab. Redacted commander at the time, redacted, can validate this. You need to elevate this to the media so we avoid a world war because this is a mutually assured destruction situation. Then he says, for vetting, my LinkedIn is Matt Berg or Matthew Livelsberger, an active duty 18 Zulu out of 110, that's 1st Battalion 10th Special Forces Group. My profile is public. I have an active TSSCI with UAP, USAP access.
So that was the manifesto. And you can see why it would be classified if you talk about that final part that Matthew Livelsberger talked about. And that's the news, that it was actually classified by the DoD or the Department of War now. And I'm going to show you the report from the New York Post of the classification of this manifesto. It says, mystery deepens over Special Forces soldier who blew up Cybertruck outside Trump Las Vegas hotel. And the important part is right here below, right here. It says, Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department officials have claimed they have no control over the release of the contents of Livelsberger's manifesto. I quote, the Department of Defense has exercised control over the manifesto, they told Las Vegas Review-Journal. The local cops claim the manifesto does not record any public business and thus is not public record. Instead, it is evidence collected by law enforcement pursuant to an investigation. And we have a reaction from Sam Shoemate, who initially, back on October 28th, spoke to, I think it's people from this New York Post article. And this is what he said. He states, I had a 45-minute conversation today with 2 journalists at a major outlet off the record and not as an anonymous source. And I was kind of shocked about what they're digging into. It gives me hope that journalism is not an entirely dying endeavor with little more than anonymous sources and poorly edited agendas. And then he came out today to discuss this even further. So this is what he said. And this is a longer one because it's important to discuss this. He says, I haven't said anything about this subject since I originally went on Shawn's podcast. I've avoided it like the plague. Despite all of the attacks, I don't have special insight. I was sent an email, nothing more. Something has troubled me since this report came out, though. Number 1, the Pentagon classified Matt's manifesto. Why? We already know what he said. Number 2, a mainstream media outlet considered one of the more reputable ones by our current fake news standards reached out on October 27, 8 days before this article was published. They told me they had new information and wanted to talk about the email claims of Gravitic propulsion systems. They're digging into these claims and wanted to know what I thought. I was of little to no help. I still don't have any thoughts, just odd timing, and it's been on my mind. And yeah, why would they classify something that is already public? The reason they do this is because they don't want people who have clearances talking about this stuff. That is the only reason they do this, because it's already out. Another reason is, and another example is this Adam and Eve story. They classified that too. And now that it's out, the majority of it at least, it's been talked about, but you will never really hear anybody from the intelligence community or somebody who has a clearance openly talking about a document or a book like the Adam and Eve story, for example. And that's why they classify stuff that is already out in the public, just so people with clearances don't have the chance to talk about these things. But yeah, Livelsberger is back in the news cycle. There's a lot of people that think that he was a whistleblower who suffered the worst fate by his own hand. Yeah, but he was already, according to his account, being followed everywhere. And the information that he gave was really startling, if you ask me, especially the one about the U.S. government being involved in civilian casualties. That is really, really bad. It makes the government look really, really bad on the international stage. So I guess that could be one of the reasons as well. But Obviously, this concerns the UFO topic because of the stuff that he claims in this manifesto. And he talks about this gravitic propulsion technology that has been the lore of UFOs for decades now, and is one of the main alleged secrets that these aerospace companies are keeping from the public. We don't know 100% with 100% certainty if that's the case, but I found it really interesting that Livelsberger's manifesto is now classified by the DoD. What gives? Why? So, do you have any idea of why this could have happened? Let me know in the comment section down below. And what do you think about what Livelsberger did back in January 1st? Let me know in the comments. If you like the content you see, I'm going to ask you to like, share, hype, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. That's all you need to do in order to help us, and it is what helps us the most. So thank you. But if you want to support us in other ways, there's a few links down there you can choose from. You can become a member on YouTube, or you can support us through KGRA. Anything you choose to do is always appreciated. So thank you. That's it for me today on this video, but I'll see you guys in the next one. Remember, stay curious and inquisitive like Sam Shoemate. Always. Bye.